Hello.
Hello. I'm gathering my tools.
Yay.
It's like the olden days people. I'm gathering my tools, except instead of like a fork, it's a bottle of 1800 tequila.
It's perfect. That's exactly what we need for today.
I am on the train of needing, and I get to use my Chili's margarita shaker.
Yes.
Great. So I'm excited.
And not in a way that's going to cause destruction or Stuart's disappointment.
I'm not gonna go that far now. We'll give her a go. How are you doing? I don't know why I'm asking you this. Christy and I just got off of talking to each other. This is how you know that we're really friends.
We were just talking, and
we've had
I also feel like
conversation already.
Whole conversation, but I also feel like it's just like my innate need to be very polite when we start this is that I'm like, oh, I have to ask how you are, even though I very much know how you are.
You know how I am.
You know how I am. We've had this conversation.
Teetering on the brink of insanity.
Always. I graded a lot of papers today.
Congratulations. Also, drink up.
Yep.
So much anticipated and promised. We're doing. How many shots do you put in a margarita? I'm back to this again.
This feels familiar. I put 2 in a margarita typically.
You put 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, hi. Oh, I'm making poor choices, Christy. I thought I had lemon juice and I don't. I had some margarita mix and then it ran out.
Oh.
And now I put some soda water and I thought I had lemon and lime, but I used it last week. So instead I'm putting a truly lemonade in here.
Don't shake it.
I'm not. Nope. It's going to be
fool us once, fool us twice, but do not fool us 3 times.
And if you do, just walk away.
It's fine. We already got the PhDs. We don't have to be smart anymore.
We don't. I love that I got this like nice brand. Well, as I was telling Christy this story. I've already told her. When I went to my honeymoon in Costa Rica, I had someone say, you can't drink tequila unless it's 1800. So you guys can debate that. I don't care really at all. But I just put Truly, and it's pineapple lemonade. Truly.
Oh, jeez.
I know.
Okay, well, so firstly, how do you still have that bottle?
Of what?
Of tequila.
Oh no, this is a different one.
Oh, okay. Because originally I thought you purchased it at your honeymoon and that you still had this bottle of tequila, and I was like,
this is no like sweet wine from the mountains of Tennessee or something. That's shoot. Okay.
I know that I don't drink a lot of tequila, but I can't imagine having a bottle for 6 years.
No, it would never last in my house.
It would not make it.
I'm putting this in a theology beer camp mug because it feels like, or glass.
Oh, lovely. Hey, speaking of, there's merchandise for this year. You get like a whole swag bag for $40. We posted about it on the Instagram, but I'll post about it again. So if you're coming to beer camp, which you should, and you can still use our code ROXGODPOD, you should get the merch bag. It's got a shirt and stickers and a bag.
I don't know any of this, so I'm just letting you ride.
There's other stuff in there, but I have already forgotten what that other stuff is. But it's in the info page. Go get it if you're coming to beer camp. Or if you just want to feel like you're at beer camp, like if you're not able to come, but you want to experience it, I'm sure you can purchase. I don't know if they can ship it to you. I might be making empty promises here.
But I'm going to send you a picture of all the stuff I put into this.
I'm very excited about it.
I just sent it to you, and we'll put it on.
We'll put it up. I had
There's a lot happening in there.
I had a margarita mix. Mine is a prickly pear margarita mix.
I thought I had it, and I didn't. And then I thought I had other things to make it better, and I didn't.
And you didn't.
So now I made a margarita out of Truly's. Not even a flavor I like. So. My friends and I do this thing, because if you ever get seltzers, you'll know there's always one flavor that you don't really like, but you usually get like a variety pack.
Yep.
And we've done this like thing where we'll stick the flavor we don't like into each other's coolers, and so that it goes away.
Yep. And I do that with the mango flavor to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, someone's clearly done pineapple lemonade. Someone's clearly done this to me.
Someone has given you a lot of pineapple lemonade.
Because that sounds awful.
I would take that off your hands, but
well, come on up.
Come up. Well,
come on
Penny
up.
and I will hop in the car after this is over and come up and get it.
I was gonna get my computer so that I could look at my thesis, but I think I'm just gonna do it without it.
I think you have the ability. I do have your thesis up.
Good.
Hey, spoiler alert! Today. Oh, hey!
I'm gonna instead go outside.
Welcome to Theology on the Rocks. We've forgotten to say that.
Oh yeah. Hi, I'm Leah.
I'm Christy. Someday we'll have some kind of intro music. That's what I've decided. It's my summer project.
You do it. Do it.
Summer of 2024. 2024.
I was like, wait, what?
So.
I'm back in seminary again.
But we decided we were gonna have a little chat about Leah's PhD thesis, which is fascinating. I read parts of it, not all of it.
She has to say it's fascinating.
No, it is.
Well, we're gonna do like hers next week. So people had asked us what we did our PhDs on, and so we thought, why not tell you on here?
Yeah. Plus, also, we can talk to you guys about some of the process if you're curious. And I have lots of questions about yours because it's like, it really is. I have notes and everything.
That's really good of you. Also, we're drinking margaritas today.
We're drinking margaritas in honor of Jimmy Buffett, like we promised.
In honor of Jimmy Buffett.
And
you already know what yours tastes like.
Cheers. I kind of don't because I took a tiny sip, but.
As long as you didn't put Truly in it, you're one step ahead.
Oh, good. Mine's still good. I was a little nervous. My mix might be old. Is yours bad?
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's just not covering to the level.
Do you not feel like it's a margarita?
No, it tastes like a margarita.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of fruit happening in the air. It's just maybe.
I will say I was because I ran out of tequila, so I had to go to the store today to get some. And when I was in line, there were a couple of like pre-made little margarita bottles that had the alcohol in it too. And one of them was jalapeno pineapple, and I almost just bought it because I was like, that sounds delicious.
No.
But
it's jalapeno in a drink.
Oh yeah, I like jalapeno margaritas.
Sounds insane.
It's just the right amount of spice. It like gives you a little kick.
But do you like Bloody Marys?
I don't like Bloody Marys, but I don't like tomatoes or anything to do with tomato juice.
That's really the whole
thing. The whole thing. Oh my God, though, can we talk about Bloody Marys for a quick second? Because I saw a picture of a Bloody Mary the other day that had a full steak on top of it.
What do you mean? How is that possible? Like on top of the glass?
Yeah, like there was like a spear through the steak, and it was sitting on top of the glass, and then it had like, Bloody Marys have like whole salads on top of them anymore. I just feel like this has gotten out of control. If you want a salad and a steak with your Bloody Mary, you can get those also. Yeah. They don't need to all be in the glass.
Every time I see people drinking Bloody Marys, it feels like a whole meal.
Yeah. They're having. It's just so much effort and like food
it's
in your
also,
drink.
and it's like 11 a.m. usually or 10 a.m. And I'm like, just give me that sweet, sweet prosecco with orange juice.
I know. Give me a lightly juiced prosecco,
Yeah.
and I just that's all I need. It's all I need. I don't need my entire meal to be on top of my glass. I just am really confused by. I feel like the Bloody Mary thing has gotten out of control.
Well, we should take that mother down. Let's take it down. We are a 2-person crew, and we are going to protest the hell out of
This
Bloody Marys.
has become an anti-Bloody Mary podcast.
Hashtag bad theology.
Hashtag
How
bad theology.
how is it bad theology, Christy? I don't know yet.
It is.
But
We'll
maybe
figure
by
it
the
out.
time I get to the end of this truly margarita, I will tell you. That has shots in it. I'll tell you. You know what it needs? I think it's ice.
Oh yeah, you're supposed to have ice.
I have ice, but it was really high because there's a lot of liquid in here. And when I put those 2 shots in, it really set it over the edge. But I've made enough sad little sips now to.
It's getting better. You can get some ice later.
I'm doing it now. But yes, later is fine.
Get some ice. Don't suffer. Hey, also, I wanted to bring up the monumental event that took place in our generation last night. Did you see about this?
Did Georgia win something else?
No. NSYNC reunited for the first time in 10 years.
NSYNC, like the
NSYNC.
is that the one that Britney Spears' ex-boyfriend was in?
It was, yeah. It was the guy that ruined Janet Jackson's career. Yes,
Correct.
he was in it.
Yeah, I remember him.
But more importantly, Lance Bass and Joey Fatone and JC Chazet, I don't know, and Chris Kirkpatrick. I can name them all.
You can, and you did.
I did. I was a Backstreet Boy girl. Like that was my primary band, but it was kind of exciting to see NSYNC.
What were they doing? Where were they?
Presented Taylor Swift with an award at the MTV VMAs. And she had a whole meltdown. I'll send you this video. Y'all can Google it. Google exists. You go find it yourself. I'm gonna send it to Leah.
Are they like 100 now? Did they like have walkers when they went out?
They did. They were all very old.
I mean, I do that Britney Spears Anaconda dance on the regular. I did last year. I did look up the VMAs, and I did feel old because I realized I knew nobody except for like 2 people.
I didn't even know they were happening last night, but I got on.
I didn't know what a Doja Cat was. I didn't know. I'm not sure. I know.
I'm
sure I know now.
Know what that is. I know that she's a singer, rapper. I don't know. I don't know that I could name you a song. And now I feel ancient. I asked my students the other day if they still say YOLO.
I don't think they ever did they? I think that was a generation back.
Do you all still say YOLO? And they all looked at me like I was just absolutely insane. And then one kid said, I say it. And I was like, thank you for having my back, sir.
And then later he said, I'm the one getting the A.
He did. He was like,
her feel better.
Now I'm getting extra credit.
I had this one professor that continuously talked about the Grateful Dead. And I was just like, what? And now I realize that's what we are those
doing.
people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and that's part of the whole delight, isn't it?
Last semester, I used to play music for my students in the beginning of class. And then I'd be like, you need to know these artists. And one of them that I made them all look up was, oh God, I can't remember the band, but it's the song Flagpole Sitta.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, no.
It's that paranoid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Is that lit or something? Maybe?
No. I feel like it's a one-hit wonder, and the band's name is not something we would recognize from somewhere else, but let's
just sit and make the podcast about trying to figure out songs.
I told them, I was like, here's how I even wrote it on the board. I was like, because it's not sitter, it's sitta, it's SITTAH.
I didn't know.
It
but
is, yeah. If you look it up, that's how the song is spelled. And so it was like, look this up. And then the next class, like a few of the students came back and they were like, "That is the weirdest song we've ever heard in our lives. What did you make us listen to?"
Because we weren't actively doing cocaine, and we wanted to feel like we were doing cocaine. And that song, and Third Eye
That song
Blind,
made you feel like that. Yeah.
that I always try to sing at beer camp will also make you feel like you're on cocaine. And so we live vicariously through these people.
Through these people who are actively doing cocaine.
I know. I was only later in that song that I realized he was like, "I'm doing crystal meth," and I'm like, "Wow, is it so fast that you're like, I'm doing crystal meth, you just jump until you break, you don't stop." And I'm like, what? I wonder what he was doing that was lifting him up so much. Yeah,
I wonder.
It's crystal meth.
Crystal meth. Don't do crystal meth, guys. Not even once.
What? Can we please make a T-shirt that's like theology on the rocks? Don't do crystal meth.
Crystal meth. We'll make those our stickers for beer camp.
If you walk away with one thing,
if we've done one thing in this world, it's discourage you from
doing crystal meth. I mean, just live your life responsibly. And here's the deal: do you like your teeth? Maybe don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. I paid a lot of money for my teeth, so I'm gonna keep them.
I've had 8,000 procedures done on my mouth, so I'd rather have them intact.
We have those good American teeth.
God, I don't know that I did, but we
make them.
We made them into American teeth.
You make them into the American teeth. I remember one day when I was sitting on the bus in Glasgow, and my friend Caitlin, who is just the best for saying whatever pops into her head, looked at me and said, "If I didn't know you were American and I saw you smile from a mile away, I would instantly know you were American." It was like, yeah. This feels like both a compliment and not a compliment at the same time.
You have a very white smile, I will say.
I have
your teeth are very white.
They're ceramic.
Oh,
it's because I broke them out.
Christy, what happened? What happened to make your teeth go out of your brain?
Well, see,
I've never heard this story before.
So the Denver Broncos won.
Who are they?
Guys, we're not doing another sports episode. I know that was a rough one. But
are they a baseball team?
The Denver Broncos won the Super Bowl.
Oh, right.
Just a few years ago. And
good for them.
Was trying to be responsible. And so I was, because I had a 9 a.m. class, and my 9 a.m. class the week before had been like, "So we're not having class on Monday, right?" And I was like, "No, I'm a professional. This was the worst decision I've ever made. I should have absolutely canceled that class."
Yeah. I mean, beginners trial and error.
You know, I think I was afraid to jinx it. Like,
because how many students were going to show up to that class either way?
Right? It's not many.
Zero.
I was teaching in Denver, guys. Like, I was in Denver. This was not like now where I'm here in St. Pete and like none of them care. It was in Denver.
Yeah. No, there would have been, I would say, -2 to 0 would have showed up.
Would have showed up. So I also, the Super Bowl, if you don't know, is early February, and in early February in Denver, as Leah knows, there's often ice on the roads. And I was walking to get back home, and I took a step off of the curb, and instead of continuing to walk, I fell flat on my face and I broke out my teeth.
She did.
Yeah. So
she did. Which is just great. Did people stop to like help you?
Yes. This lovely girl started screaming, "Woman! Woman, are you okay?"
And you stood up with just like blood coming down your
everywhere.
Face. Like, no, I'm not. Okay. What do I look like?
I was the opposite of okay. It was bad. It was really bad. So I had to cancel class.
Oh my God. Well, and also get your teeth fixed.
And I also had to get my teeth fixed, which was a very long and expensive process. But I have really fantastic teeth now. So.
She does. If it is like, for all the work I've had done, you'd look at mine and be like, "Oh, okay." that I don't notice them, so they're not crazy. But like Christie's, you like notice
because they're ceramic.
Well, I mean, they look great
They
though. They
do.
look great.
I call them my
So
movie star teeth. So, it
yeah,
worked out. It worked out.
yeah.
It was expensive, but it's fine.
But see, I had buck teeth for so long that
Mhm.
I wanted ignorable teeth.
Yeah.
I wanted teeth that people would just be
Just
like,
not care
okay,
about.
yeah,
I
100%.
get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, this is teeth on the rocks.
teeth on the rocks. No, so we want to talk about your thesis, which
Okay.
is like I didn't have enough time to read the whole thing, but I read a good chunk of it, and I have a whole bunch of notes and questions. But please talk about your thesis
Yeah.
and tell us what it's about and all of the
I think I want to talk more about teeth.
bits.
So I'm gonna not do that. Okay. So by the way, guys, because Christy and I went to Scottish universities, our dissertations are online, I guess. If you want
They are on
get
open
them.
access. You can just Google our names and the word thesis,
Yeah.
and then you can
I
read
mean,
it.
mine's a book now, so if you want to support me, you buy the
Yes.
book. If you want to support the internet, I don't know.
If you want to just read
free thinking, you can. I will say I cut down the book to a consumable amount.
Like the book is going to be the better thing to read if you're really interested in this, and we'll post all of that information too. But the book is not that your thesis wasn't amazing, but it is a thesis. It's a little bit.
It's I mean it's a lot. There's like 390 pages or something.
It was like it's
390.
It's 390. You know.
Like I try to act if anytime I say it that firmly, it's but I try to act casual about it. I'm like, oh,
hers is longer than mine.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot happening.
There was a lot. Like, you had oh my god, it was
a lot.
It was very full of
you thought you read everybody.
I was like, so Leah very kindly read through my thesis when I was finishing up and helped me with some preparation and stuff. But one of the things that she said to me was that you said to me was that I read everybody and that there were too many books. And I'm reading through just your first chapter, and I was like, you read everybody.
Yeah,
like
I did.
Everybody.
But I was on the other side of the trauma. So when I started talking about the thesis, let me begin and say that I did it 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's been a minute. Like that trauma had left my body by the time I read yours, and I was just like, wow, this is a lot.
You had forgotten.
But then I forget that my supervisor and Christy's supervisor were friends. And also that they were women in theology, which was very rare in their days. It's semi-rare now, but very rare back then. And so I think they were really trying to cover the bases. And by doing that, it meant that Christy and I read everything. Yeah. So when I went to, I will say, I kind of always knew I wanted to go to get my PhD, and from a certain point. So I was like, I'm not going to go too far and do like the sob story, but I went on a study abroad to China when I was an undergraduate and realized I was pretty good at this sort of stuff. I was a psychology major to begin with. And then I went with a bunch of religion folks and Professor Rob Nash, shout out, who married me and Stuart in years in the future. But he took me to China, and it just everything the way that he talked about his subject and the way the religion majors talked about their subject was not the way the psych majors did.
Yeah.
And I just was immediately like enamored with it. And so I double majored, so I got both of the credits. And then I just was like, I want to do what he does. Like, I want to take students abroad, and like, I want to show them and be excited the way that he is. And so that's when I knew. So it's probably like 20. It was 2002, so I was like 20. And so I went and got my master's, and then applied to a bunch of American places. And then I got into a few, but I was just like, I want to see other things. I'd done my undergraduate in Georgia, my postgraduate in Georgia. I'd lived in Georgia. It was like, I need to get out of here. Yeah. So I had a professor, Dr. Tom Slater, shout out, at Mercer, where I did my master's, who said, you should just go. He did his PhD in London.
Okay.
And and he was like, why don't you just go to the UK? So I went and applied and got into everywhere.
Good job.
Well, yeah, they want your money, but that's fine. There's a lot less standardized testing.
I did not. There was one school I applied to that I did not get into.
Well, I don't know where you were.
It was not impressive. It was weird. It was a weird but I got into the more impressive schools. Why am I not getting into this one?
The thing, if you decide to go, and this is the universal you, if you decide to go to the UK, is you find it's less about saying like, oh, I got into Oxford or Cambridge or whatever, and more about finding a supervisor.
Yes, absolutely. Which you have to do first.
You do, yeah.
You have to get approval from the supervisor before you can apply to the school.
Yeah, and they have to agree that your project is something that they want to look at. Yeah. And when they do that, then so for me, there was a guy that I had approached at a certain university that told me not to go there.
That's essentially what happened to me. I had sent information to somebody at Manchester, but one of the colleges of Manchester, and I honestly can't remember which one, but I had sent him stuff and he said no. So I hadn't done the official formal application, but he had said no. So,
and when I became a PhD supervisor at Edinburgh, I started to get it because it was like, they're not saying no because they think your project sucks. They're saying no because they don't think they can supervise it.
It's either that or they're saying this, there's too much more. What he said was that he wanted to direct it in a different way than I wanted to do. And so he didn't think we were a good fit, basically. Yeah. So,
because you don't have coursework the way that you do in the US. Correct. You just immediately start writing.
Correct.
So if you don't get along with your supervisor,
you're screwed.
You're screwed. Because that's it.
And that's also why it works that way, is because you're not going into coursework. So you're immediately with your supervisor, and the project that you propose to them and put on your proposal is what you hit the ground running doing. So if the project isn't there, or if it's not something they want to work on or that they feel they can work on, it's just not going to work out. So it's totally a fair, I don't feel any kind of resentment towards it or anything. It was just I remember being a little bit shocked.
When I was at Edinburgh, and I don't think they would deny this, so I can go ahead and name drop it, but I started getting all the PhDs that were things that were I was the practical theologian there technically, but it meant that any sex stuff I got any sort of anything that was a little bit progressive edgy, I guess, because by that stage my supervisor had retired, who Cecilia Clegg had retired, and Marcella had Ellis Reed had sadly passed away at that stage. So there was a little bit, well, actually not a lot, of a huge loss of kind of the feminist sex sort of queer theology section at Edinburgh. And so I got a lot, and there were some that I was like, and that's where the beauty of co-supervision comes in, because I could bring in somebody else and be like, I need your help on this. Yeah. If it was someone studying peace, I remember I had one that was peace building in Africa, and I was like, okay, I can do the peace theory stuff, but I need the world Christianity people to help me with the Africa stuff. But anyway, so I went there, and I originally had actually decided I was going to do world Christianity as my subject area and look at Hinduism and Christianity in India and how they interacted. Yep. And then I had a supervisor who accepted my project, and then I moved to Edinburgh, came there, and there was this one festival called the Velencani Festival, and I wanted to do anthropological work on it. And the supervisor, I mean, quite kindly, honestly, to begin with, was like, this doesn't work because they don't see it. The way they see each other is not how you framed it. It's not as big of a difference as what you think it is. So the festival, they shared the Christians and the Hindus, and but she was just like, this is the sort of fundamental groundwork is not what you think it is. Yeah. And I was like, and I'd written my master's on that, and I was like, oh. okay,
Yeah.
cool.
You're like, oh no. Oh.
And she was like, actually, what I think you're interested in is practical theology. And I was like, okay. And then she just like,
Well, thank God for her.
yeah, she kind of shoved me out the door.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, bye bye. And thank God she did. Sorry, my gaps are me sipping this wondrous creation. So I went and started writing and realized I was really interested in sort of the peace building aspect, because that's why I liked that festival. Was she was right, was this idea of like people getting along and like religions being able to share spaces and things like that.
Yeah.
And so Cecilia Clegg, who I worked with, had written a lot about Northern Ireland, and she was like, well, if you want to see how people share and can't share spaces, why don't you go live over there for a while? And I was like, okay. And so I did. And it was funny because she had me write my history chapter first, like the history of Northern Ireland, which in itself is hard because there's a lot there.
Hard, yeah.
And then I went and lived there and did ethnography. I did interviews and observations of these certain places, Corrymeela and Cornerstone, which are peace and reconciliation centers in Northern Ireland. And if you don't know the background, there's a lot of colonialization issues, Catholic Protestant issues in Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
There was a movie, Belfast, that came out very recently that's epically good that you should watch. It won a lot of awards. So I went and interviewed people, and basically I look back at my thesis when you said you were looking at it, because I was like, oh gosh, I haven't even like I blew the dust off of it. And the thing that really got me was actually looking at the signatures of the people, because I had to get like ethical approval.
Right. Yeah.
And it was just all these people who I just loved, because I ended up living with them, each of those communities, which are lived in communities, for about 3 months each. And so I became kind of like a member of their community.
Right.
So like when I wasn't interviewing them, I was like, if I was at Cornerstone, which was more older folks, I was like drinking coffee that would take the paint off of a car and watching like Star Trek in this house, you know. And so I constructed this sort of worlds, and I realized that I do practical theology, but I do like constructive theology too, which is basically looking at I like hearing people and hearing what they have to say, and then creating what I think is maybe a systematic way of understanding that, and then giving it back to them and saying, does this reflect what you were telling me? And so with them, I was really interested in the idea of reconciliation as a theological idea and peace building. And so I just let them kind of tell me what they think about it. And, you know, it was fantastic.
It is fantastic. And like I said, it's a really fascinating thesis. I am going to finish reading through it, because I found that the notes that I took were plentiful, and I was starting to feel like, oh my gosh, I really need to read through this whole thing. And probably will just get the book.
Well, I started with the system. I started talking about the theology of reconciliation in a systematic way. So I'm sure Christie's.
You did, which
the Napsies were just going mental, which was my least favorite
part. It was my, I mean, look, I was having the time of my life, and
I did throw Karl Barth in the first paragraph, and I did that as a joke to my supervisor. That was a joke.
I want to say though, as I was reading through your thesis, the number of crossovers, look, we make a lot of jokes, Leah and I, about being twin flames.
We are.
But we say that like God was trying to like save the world from the combination of the two of us, and so separated us, but we found each other anyway.
And then we did theology.
And I was like, oh my gosh, we have so many crossovers of people that we both referenced in our theses.
Because we both love the same theologian. Like I know systematics.
Yeah.
I just don't. I mean, but is my true passion is ethnography, or you like that's a big word, guys, for like interviews, observations. That's basically field work.
Field work. Well, yeah. So like,
and your true love is literature. I'm gonna guess.
Yeah.
There you
But I will say, my senior thesis for undergrad was in ethnography. So I have also done it, and
go.
I
Yay.
do love it. I think it's fascinating. Ethnography is studying smaller people groups. So like understanding groups and the ways that groups work and all of that is, I think, fascinating. I think though, the reason I love literature is because I feel like you can get a sense of that through books
Oh
in a
yeah.
different way. And it always spoke to me more. But I can understand how the ethnography for you was so useful. And I also felt like I tend towards um framing everything in a systematic way, but it's still pretty practical. And I think that you're just the reverse of like framing everything in a more practical way, but it still has that systematic work to it. So we're really like two sides of the same coin.
Shut up. Shut up. Stop
Which is
it.
what I kept seeing. But I was really I just was really fascinated by a lot of the different ways that you described reconciliation, and the ideas of it. So I was wondering if you, at the end of the thesis, if you were to say, here's a summation of what reconciliation looks for you, what would that be?
Yeah, from a theological
Yeah.
perspective, I think. So I made a chart, Christy. I
You
made
had
a
so
chart.
many charts, which
You'll get to my chart in the end.
I don't know how to read. I don't know how to make charts, or I would do them more, but
Did you see my charts? My charts are like word art.
you know what? I can't look. I have a chart on one of my PowerPoints that I straight up stole from one of my friends.
I made a chart. So one of
And
the
one
things
of
that
my
I
students this semester was like, "Why does it say this instead of this?" And I was like, "You're right. It should say that other thing." But I stole this chart from my friend and I don't know how to fix it.
had that in a job interview. They were like, why does that picture represent that religion? And I was like,
Like,
because it's
because
not. I was like, because it's not mine.
this is not mine. I know. The students are like, what about this? And I'm like, that is a very valid question that I also have, but I didn't make this chart. I gave him credit in class. I was like, here's who made it, blah, blah, blah. But like
Kids,
anyway,
crystal meth and stealing are bad.
both things are bad. Don't be like us.
Don't plagiarize. Just look at us plagiarizing.
Oh my God. Okay. So
Yeah. So in the end, basically, one of the things that I saw was that consistently, I predominantly looked at Northern Ireland, but I also looked at like Israel, Palestine, and South Africa,
yeah.
and some other former Yugoslavia, where there was a lot of work of theologians who were essentially talking about reconciliation. The problem with reconciliation is the word is it doesn't occur that much in the Bible at all.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
it's like 15 times if my brain is right. And in the Gospels, it's only once.
Yeah.
So the actual Greek word for reconciliation occurs only once, and it is when Jesus is saying, if you want to go do a sacrifice. This is grossly summarizing. If you want to go give a sacrifice, you need to reconcile yourself to your brother or sister before you do that. That's the only time Jesus says the word reconcile. So it's a weird word. Paul says it the other 14 times because he's living in a shit show of a situation where but essentially the Greek word means to have an exchange with the other. And so it is this idea that begins to get developed kind of later on than a lot of other theological concepts, because when me and Christy did the history, if you remember in theology, it doesn't come up until people start questioning why Jesus had to die on the cross.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a little bit later on, and people were like, well, there had to be a reconciliation between God and humanity or whatever. There's a bunch of theories out there about reconciliation, but it starts to come to the forefront. Well, then it hits the social world, and people realize it's just a word. Really, even from the beginning in those early church fathers days, it's like a catch-all. It doesn't mean anything. So when you say, what does it mean? Before I started my dissertation, I'd be like, oh, it means like peace or like love.
Yeah.
Or if you Google it, this is a good way if you're a teacher to find out what a word means is put it in a search engine.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put in a search engine reconciliation, you're going to get people holding hands or people hugging or whatever. And that's kind of what happened. So especially in Northern Ireland, it also became a means of oppression because people felt as though there was a forcing of reconciliation at the cost of liberation and at the cost of justice, essentially. And you see this on billboards now. You can't have peace without justice. And I'm like, oh, y'all read my thesis and didn't give me a footnote.
Credit me there.
So my definition was this chart. And essentially, think of the chart as like if you drive a car and you know how your sort of meter goes up as you get faster. Imagine that is basically context. And essentially what happens is that in any given context, you have people who are wanting this overarching idea of reconciliation. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's theologically based. Let's say Desmond Tutu's running it, so it might be. And sometimes it's not. Mm-hmm. But reconciliation as a whole. That meter is going to go back and forth based on where a certain context is. And on one side, I say there is the liberating side, which is truth and justice. Mm-hmm. And on the other side, I say there is repentance and forgiveness, which is the, I don't think I say reconciling. I say some other whatever side. Yeah. It's the hand-holding side, guys. And depending on your circumstance and where you are, there's a push. So if you think like in America for like the Black Lives Matter, let's say movement, for example, that little meter would swing a lot farther towards liberating the truth and justice side. There was a call for what reconciliation meant was for truth and justice to come out. Mm-hmm. And if you look at, I did a little bit of a case study on South Korea and the South Korean churches and their understanding of North Korea. It actually leaned a lot farther away from truth and justice because they wanted to see their relatives. There was a need for that sort of thing. Yeah. And so it leaned more toward the repentance and forgiveness side. Yeah. So in any given context, my eventual conclusion is that you need those four elements. Mm-hmm. But those four elements, I say at one stage, are a divine order, and we're crap at it. Yes. So we don't do that. So what we do is that we throw around this word, and what we really mean is probably reconciling or liberating tendencies for whatever fits a given situation. And so what happens is if you have a country that's really or a situation that's really hell-bent on getting the truth out, or getting justice, and you say, no, what we should be doing is just repenting and forgiving. Yeah. Well, that's going to mean that reconciliation, the scale's off because it doesn't fit the context. Right. So people are going to get mad about it. So one of the criticisms of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in South Africa, which if you don't know about, you should look it up, is that there was a lot of truth and there was but there was more repentance and forgiveness in these trials, but the justice was really low. Mm-hmm. And so for them, reconciliation became a Band-Aid, essentially, of making people feel like they were at peace instead of making them feel like they were free. Right. So that's kind of the long-winded conclusion. There you go.
No, I mean, like I said, I think it's a really important and also like something that's constantly a thing that we talk about is this idea of how to reconcile with different communities or how to reconcile with different people or what reconciliation really means. And I think it's important to kind of have a bigger context because it can't just be holding hands and like having this kumbaya kind of a moment with somebody who has truly wronged you, or
there's a book
superficially bridging those gaps,
Yeah. And another way too, there is a book by David Reif that says it's called Against Remembrance that I bring up a lot. And I actually think it was really interesting because he used the former Yugoslavia as an example, and he said that sometimes maybe we shouldn't remember the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was, when I first read it, I thought it was wildly inappropriate. But I was like, but his argument was, this is the next generation from the genocide that was in that region,
Yeah.
and they weren't a part of it.
Yeah.
You know, and actually the people who were, or maybe getting older, or are not, no longer with us. It doesn't mean that the history has to disappear, because I don't want to argue against this whole, like, we shouldn't teach history. Still have
Mm-hmm.
that, but should you have, like, his argument was against the monuments and the stuff to it, and, like,
Yeah.
you know, learn the history, but maybe you don't need all of this stuff to remind you. I'm not thoroughly convinced by it. I
Well,
just
I
want to
think
point
that's
it
an
out in the
interesting,
book.
yeah, that's an interesting thought, because it comes back to some of those conversations that the US has had over monuments,
Mm-hmm.
specifically in the South, and like, how do we understand remembrance versus kind of
History. I mean,
history, or even a kind of idolization of stuff, and like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
are we having these monuments and they become idols, or almost like we've we've kind of given them a false history, or are we actually trying to teach history? You have a quote at the end of your thesis by Desmond Tutu. It says, true reconciliation exposes the awfulness, the abuse, the pain, the degradation, the truth. It could even sometimes make things worse. And I think
Yep.
that was kind of a I don't know, a really impactful quote to have, because it can, like, it's, you think about reconciliation and just like relationships, telling the truth to somebody could make things worse, but how we understand when it's necessary to make things worse in order to actually reconcile is important.
Yeah.
And
And
understanding
sometimes they have to get worse to get
to get
better.
better.
Like,
Yeah.
and I think that was the thing of including truth and justice, is that in an
Mhm.
idealized world, you would have truth and justice and repentance and forgiveness in equal measure. But we don't live in that world. And actually, we have these contexts where certain things maybe need to happen first.
Mhm.
And then other stuff can happen. Like you
Yeah.
said, like, sometimes you need to have a really tough conversation where you
Yeah.
tell your truth, and there may not be any justice from that.
Yeah.
Um, but maybe you can have that conversation. There's some amount of repentance that happens as a result of that, and some amount of forgiveness. And maybe together, you know, you can reach this point of feeling like there is a justice in being heard, or maybe whatever happens as a result of that. You know, so it would be nice if all of those things happened. Um, but the sort of argument that I make is that we're we're wanting to basically, again, put a band-aid on whatever the conflict is, and force into a situation something that maybe is not doing it in the right order.
Yeah.
um so
You also talk in the beginning about horizontal versus vertical
uh-huh.
reconciliation. And I know that this is part of that systematic part that was your least favorite, but
Barf.
you tell me more about that.
Mm. I just had to take a sip. This was good. So historically, and I say historically as in, like, the early church talked about reconciliation in terms of Jesus, as I mentioned, and that was very much a vertical understanding. So when I say vertical, I mean like from God to
Yeah.
humans, and then horizontal is human
Human,
to
human. Yeah.
human. Yeah, and so that's all that really got talked about until really about like the 50s and the 60s, when we start talking about like the social gospel and
Yep.
liberation theology and stuff like that. But it was a real focus on, and we see this throughout church history if you've taken a class in that, is that a lot of times these conflicts get ignored, because the idea is, well, as long as you're right with the Lord, you know, as long as you're reconciled with God, that's all, you know, and then everything else will sort itself out, sort of thing. And so the vertical idea for the longest time was just why, like I said, why Jesus had to die on the cross. And there was a lot
Mhm.
of theories. Again, people love to say, oh, we've had this figured out. No, we have not. There was several theories, like that there was this big cosmic battle between good and evil, and that's why he had to die. And then there's all the, like, your favorite people, those freaking Calvinists that come around that are like, he's a substitution for our sins. And then there's some in-betweeners between that are like, no, God was just really pissed off, and there needed to be equal sort of gosh, I don't buy this at all, but there was this idea that you had to like basically quell God's anger, and that the death of Jesus did that.
Mm-hmm.
So there was all of these stipulations, and this is why, dear listeners, that systematics drives me through the freaking ringer, because we're just sitting here being like, well, maybe God was pissed,
Maybe it was this or that. Yeah.
maybe there was some angels and demons just fighting it out.
Maybe it's all of them in little bits, and we call it a kaleidoscope theory.
Maybe so. And I'm like, look, I'm writing this down because here's the deal. If you want to do practical theology, guys, you got to pay your damn dues. So you write it down, you show that you know it, and you just try to take it out of the ether.
Yeah.
So that's the vertical stuff, is the ether stuff, which is the idea of like how, and then later what you get is this idea of like, well, okay, so if we agree, at least in theory, that Jesus had to die on the cross. I mean, that's maybe a thing that the Christian church has decided.
Okay.
Why Jesus had to die on the cross, maybe just go read Calvin's Institutes or something. I don't know. Like, you can, it's depending on the church you go to.
Well, go read, I'm just going to say, go read Christus Victor.
Yeah.
That's the right one to read.
Gustav Holland.
Gustav Holland. Yeah. It's short. You'll get through it in about a month.
Yeah, it takes a minute.
It takes a minute.
But it gives you the theories, and I'm not trying to be flippant. Like, it really does depend on what denomination you're a part of as to why, or what. And they may say a combo, like Christy said, a kaleidoscope theory. And then, I put that out there, and then I really dig into kind of where people start saying, okay, so we are reconciled with God because of this whole thing. Well, then what are we supposed to do with the other humans? Surely it can't be that we just like ignore them, or don't care about them, or don't care if they are in pain or at war or whatever. And, if we've been given this gift in whatever way that you see Jesus' death, then how are we supposed to then gift to other people the gift that we've been given, basically? And how are we supposed to live out that life, which we are called to do? And so that's sort of the horizontal bit that I really, really focused on. Yeah. And, there's a lot of talk that they're dependent upon each other. And I do kind of agree with that. It doesn't mean that you have to be a Christian to be a good person, but I do think that there is a responsibility to reconciliation that Christians have because of this kind of gift that we were given. So
I would agree with you. I think that in a very specific and unique way, Christianity calls us to that reconciliation, because we are meant to, and regardless of what kind of denomination you're a part of, you're meant to live as God lives, or to be God in the world in some respect. And so how that's understood should include a reconciliation. You quoted Moltmann, or you talked about Moltmann too, who's, one of my faves, saying that the Christian call to mission as being linked with offering a theology of hope to the world. And I think that's exactly right, is that the Christian mission isn't to just escape from hell, as a lot of people seem to think that it is, but instead to give us this sense of hope, because that's ultimately what Christianity has to offer, is that hope of redemption and reconciliation. And
because even if our life here is small, like, or relative to infinity, it doesn't mean that you can't make things a little bit. But like, I look around sometimes and I'm like, people are like, well, this is just how it is, and I'm like, but it's not how it has to be.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not. And I went and lived in some of these places, and people will be like, well, do you think you change things? And I was like, no, but who I do love is Frightened Rabbits, Scott Hutchins. And one of his big quotes in one of his songs is "Make tiny changes to Earth." And I think that's really what I had. No idealized version of this thesis, but I thought, as I'm sitting in the living room with a bunch of people from Northern Ireland, Catholic and Protestant, and we're laughing and eating and drinking crazy coffee and watching Star Trek, I'm like, you know what? We're making tiny changes.
Yeah.
And better than doing nothing.
It is.
Like,
It is absolutely better than doing nothing. And it's, I think, the tiny changes that make the world generally better. The idea that we're going to have some cataclysmic change that suddenly shifts everything into a good state of the world has never been true and is probably never going to be true. People aren't.
but if a bunch of people get together and make tiny changes, then it does
then that becomes that cataclysmic event.
Yeah.
And I think that's something worth working towards, even in our small areas. However we are able to demonstrate that reconciliation and what that means to us. Because it isn't that kind of like neat, just forgive everybody or just be nice to everybody. Like, I hate that kind of mentality, is that if you're a good Christian, you just like kind of are nice to people all the time. Like, that's not reconciliation either. But it's understanding the ways that we behave and move, and then understanding where we're required to reach out or to make the effort and somebody else is not required to do that.
And maybe you look at the chart and you say, like, or you think in your head, if I am upset with someone today, and I buy into this whole world, what is it that I need most right now?
Mm-hmm.
Is it truth, justice, or repentance, or forgiveness?
Mm-hmm.
Or, and then some of those are for you to do, forgiveness perhaps, but it's like, or maybe someone needs to forgive you. But think about that, and then maybe express those words to somebody. Say, look, I want to reconcile with you. Right now, I need truth.
Yeah.
And so let's tell our truth to each other. And we may not agree.
Yeah.
But like, let's put that, and then can we have a moment at the end of that truth for some repentance from both sides, and just sort of like seeing where you are and not trying to force, because I think that hand-holding thing really can be really damaging. Like, I think, go hug that person. Well, maybe
what they don't need is a hug.
There.
Or like, I think it, because part of, like the quote with Tutu, is part of it is messy and it can make things worse. And so maybe initially for that reconciliation, it means breaking contact with that person,
Absolutely.
Maybe initially it means that you need to tell them exactly what's wrong, and then it's on them to make the next move, and you just have to like move away from that, I think.
And maybe there's no reconciliation.
Yeah, maybe there's,
and that's also, I think, you should never, that's the thing that I got over and over again from Northern Ireland, is like, people felt forced into reconciliation, and maybe none of those 4 categories worked for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was reading today excerpts from Counting the Cost, which is Jill Duggar's book that came out.
Oh yeah,
it came out today, and I was just reading excerpts about her mom and dad and her brother, who was, has been in prison for being, I don't know if we can say these words because there's this blogger that always bleeps them out.
Oh,
but
yeah.
If you don't know, he was incredibly inappropriate to the point of prison with his sisters.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, but I read her book and I thought, you know what? Reconciliation may not be on the cards for her. Like, I don't know. And they're a very religious family, and that may not, like with her brother, I was thinking, and I was just like, I don't know. And it certainly shouldn't be forced. She shouldn't feel guilty because she's a Christian to do that at all. But like, there may be some times where just leaving someone in relative peace is also okay.
Yeah. Well, one of the thoughts that I had, because you did talk about Bart in the beginning, and you did mention him a few times there, much as
I mentioned him twice.
You mentioned him more than twice because I have notes about it. But
the first paragraph was a joke.
His concept of reconciliation, again, it's Bart, so it's largely surrounding the work of Jesus. And Jesus is always the answer. It's always, but
which works.
Which works. He kind of emphasizes that reconciliation is initiated by God, because God is the only one who can initiate that reconciliation.
Right.
And as I was reading through it, I kept having this thought of like, okay, so who should be doing the initiating of reconciliation? And I thought maybe in kind of as a very general statement to say reconciliation has to be initiated by the one who has the power to do so. And for instances where like it's Jill Duggar, she's not the one with the power to reconcile, like he has to and potentially can't do the things that he would have to do to reconcile with her. But it's not on her to do that.
No.
And in some instances, it's not on the people who are being oppressed or hurt or what have you, aren't the ones who have to do the work of reconciliation. It's the ones who are doing those things. And whether or not they can do those things is a different question. But it takes away some of that, like, oh, I just need to forgive this person, because you don't,
Right. Yeah, and I think that was part of the weight that people in Northern Ireland felt, was that like, oh, well, I need to forgive this person who shot my daughter. In one case, that was the story.
Oh God,
and
yeah.
and it was like, no, but the guy was like, I don't forgive him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, because my daughter's in a wheelchair. She survived, but she's in a wheelchair. And it's like, well, in that case I actually disagree with Bart there. I don't know. Like, I guess if you think of God as being this big mystery, then yes. But I don't think that God's like sitting there with like a clicker tape, just being like, okay, they forgive them. They forget, like, I don't think of it in that sense, because I'm like, there was a weight and almost a guilt that people felt that they weren't being reconciled to some people.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think that you should feel that way. And if there is some divine intervention where people get reconciled, I'm here for it. But I mean, I think that people like her who have suffered so greatly should absolutely, as you said, not feel guilt for
that. Well, because like I said, I feel like the weight of that reconciliation isn't on her.
No.
I feel like the weight of the reconciliation is on the person who did the wrong thing in that instance, because they're the one who instigated it. Whereas like, and I know this is kind of the opposite of what Bart is saying, is technically humans are the one who broke relationship and God is the one who initiated reconciliation. But God is the only one who can do anything in Bart's theology. Like, we wouldn't have been able to bridge that gap anyway, even if we tried. So
it's a little bit of a get out of jail free card, isn't it?
It is a little bit, yeah.
Because it's just like, oh, only God can do. Oh, okay.
Well, cool. Only God can do it.
Bart. Thanks, Bart.
I mean, again, it's Jesus, but like I said, like, given that humans are all kind of on equal standing power wise in the like that way. So if the person is the one who offends you or hurts you or shoots you or what have you, that's the person who has the
they've done the offense.
They've done the offense. They have to be the one to start any kind of reconciliation. But again, they might not be able to, because they might, like, there's damage that they might be unable to overcome or even want to overcome. And it's not the person who's been hurt that has to do that work then.
Yeah. And you're not, you shouldn't wait around for that. Like, you should move on and try to heal in the ways that you can heal, because that's not what, and you shouldn't feel pressure about that. There's this great film that has Liam Neeson. It's about Northern Ireland, and it's left my brain. It's been a while since I've seen it, but basically Liam Neeson's character has killed the brother of this guy, and Liam, when he was a teenager living in Belfast, and basically Liam Neeson gets older and becomes this like motivational speaker. And I'll put a link up on the Instagram, but and it's interesting because they go through this whole thing, and Liam Neeson calls this guy who's the surviving brother, to come and reconcile with him on TV, because it's become this whole like feel good, profitable thing. And he has a knife in his pocket.
Oh,
he plans on killing Liam Neeson.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. And basically the whole thing is this back and forth where you see Liam Neeson lives in this apartment by himself. He's sad. He has a sad life. He's a motivational speaker of reconciliation, but his life is not what it should be. And this other guy's life is also not what it should be, because he's holding on to all this resentment. And his wife is upset because it's like, you got to let it go, and blah, blah, blah. And I remember the last scene, they are fighting in the old house that the guy used to live in with his brother. and they like fall out of a window, they wrestle, and at the end they look at each other and they know that both of them could kill the other person in that moment. And they get up and they walk down separate ends of the street, and that's the end of the film.
Oh, wow.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And in some ways I'm like, sometimes that's it. Like, you just, like, the guy, because the guy gave up that feeling of needing the revenge.
Yeah.
And Liam Neeson gave up trying to reconcile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's...
Which is sort of a depressing, but I'll put the scene up. You'll see it. It's great.
But I think that idea of reconciliation, I think it's one of the more important conversations. And like you said this in the beginning of your PhD, your thesis, that it's one that hasn't had quite as much voice, maybe, because of how people just kind of either try to gloss it over, or they're looking at different things with liberation theologies and stuff. But I think it's a really important one to talk about. So I really appreciated the work you did here.
Well, I appreciate you reading 390 pages.
I mean, I haven't read all 390 pages yet, but
of course you have.
I am going to, because I am that person. But we will also put the link up for your book, because it is on Amazon. It's a little pricier than your bad theology book, but it is available.
Well, that's my first book. They're always going to be a little pricier.
They're always a little pricier, mainly because nobody wants to read them.
It's very true.
But you should.
I would suggest you go on. You can get it for free. I mean, if you really want to go through 390 pages versus 200, then you can.
But you can access it. Just Leah Robinson thesis. You can throw the word Edinburgh in there. It narrows it down a little bit, because there are a few of you Leah Robinsons with PhDs.
I know. There's a woman professor who's in, I think I told you, kinesiology.
Yeah.
She's in Michigan, and she's an African American woman, and we love to see who can get. It's become a joke now. We see who can get like these. Like, I got Leah E, and she's also E. She's Leah E. Robinson too. Yeah, and so I got the Twitter, and then she got the YouTube.
I will say, when I tried putting Leah E. Robinson in for the Google search, it did not work well. So leave the E out. Just put Leah Robinson thesis.
Yeah, I've given up on the E now.
Yeah,
because of
Dr. Robinson,
Leah E. Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it shows up that I do muscles, or like any like bones situation, please.
You've never been to Michigan that I know of?
I dated a guy from Michigan once, but I did not frequent it, because it is the coldest place I've ever been in my whole life.
It is really cool. It's a mitten for a reason.
It is. It totally is. Well, Christy, thank you for reading, and I've had fun. I finished almost all of that, and I am not sure what I'm going to do with myself. Don't mix Truly's and tequila. 1800 tequila.
I feel like 1800 tequila usually deserves better than a Truly, but I understand that.
I agree. I started, like, I usually know what's going on in my cabinet, but since we've started this podcast, it's a free for all.
Also, since we've started this podcast, my liquor collection has grown exponentially.
My liquor is not the problem.
It's like the mixers.
It's my accoutrements.
Yeah, like the mixers I have are what keep I keep being like, oh, I need this mixer now.
Because I was like, oh, I don't have lemon. Remember how I was like bragging that I had lemon and lime last week?
You did, yeah.
I didn't have shit.
You didn't have either of them.
Oh. I didn't have anything because I didn't replace them.
Have you ever just made a margarita with like straight agave? We used to do that in Colorado. No. We would get agave syrup and then tequila and make like these very, like, they're skinny margaritas, but it's just agave syrup and tequila. But I don't recommend that if you want to do anything else the next day.
You think so? My Truly of pineapple lemonade is better.
I do. For your functionality, I think it's better.
It's got alcohol in it already. It's not a lot. It's got it. I've doubled up.
You doubled up.
And you were like, and now we're going to talk about your thesis from 12 years ago. And I'm like, yeah, great.
Well, you did a good job. You remembered it.
Thank
That's
you.
good.
Yeah, well, I will say if you do a PhD, it's sort of ingrained. I'm like sitting outside right now. It's
I know it
ingrained in you.
becomes a part of you.
It's like, yeah, it is like it's a part of you.
It's the first child that you birthed,
It
really.
is. Oh my gosh.
Unless you've had an actual child and then it's not, but it is for both.
I talked about the process of going to the UK. You should talk about the process of viving next week with
Oh
yours.
yeah,
Like
I will.
when you actually submit.
The submission
And
and
also
Viva
your trauma, Christy. Oh my
trauma. Oh my
god.
God. My PhD.
I finished in 2011. Christy, do you want to tell them what year you finished?
I finished in 2021.
Just think about that,
Which,
listener.
yeah, let's think about what was happening for me at the end of my PhD. It was not great. It was not great.
Tune in next week.
So yes, tune in next week. We'll talk about my thesis and more exciting
And trauma, just
and
general
trauma. This is gonna be such a good topic.
I know. And I'll read her thesis again.
Again, take many notes this time.
I
Leah.
will. You know me. I'm always in my 14th year. I'm very thorough now. All right. I will talk to you later.
All right. See y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.